So today I'm going to be going through long division for polynomials. And as you probably have noticed, I put 4 polynomials in parentheses. And I did that for a reason. Because really, when you're doing long division for polynomials, it's really fundamentally the same thing as when you do long division for regular numbers. So up here I wrote a sample problem. Here we have 15 divided by 750. And what you can see is, what we did is we just said, okay, how many times can 15 fit into 75? And so it can fit in 5 times, right? 15 times 5 equals, 75. So right here we just subtracted by 75 and we got 0. And we wrote 5 up here. And then we asked, okay, how many times can 15 fit into 0? And we said 0. And so 750 divided by 15 is equal to 50, right? And so we're doing the exact same thing, but with polynomials. And I hope that as you do a couple examples in this video, you'll kind of see that more and more. All right, so let's get started. All right, so our first example today is the problem divide x cubed plus 12x squared plus 44x plus 48 by x plus 6. Now, with this problem, we set it up like this. All right, so we have x plus 6 over here, and we put x cubed plus 12x squared plus 44x plus 44x plus 48 under here. And now we just proceed like any normal long division problem. All right, so x plus 6 can't fit into one term, so what we do is we see how many times x plus 6 can fit into x cubed plus 12x squared. So right here, let's just write, okay, so when we're trying to figure out how many times can x plus 6 fit into x cubed plus 12x squared, we usually go by the first term. So how many times can x fit into x cubed? Well, it can fit x squared times, right? Because x squared times x plus 6 equals x cubed plus 6x squared. And even though the second term doesn't match here, that's okay. We'll take care of it in the next go around. So we write up here x squared, just like if you were going to write 15 goes into 75 5 times, right? And what we're going to be doing is we're going to subtract what we got here. So negative x cubed, and then we're also going to have minus 6x squared. And so we get out 0 plus 6x squared. Perfect. And so now what we do is we just drop down this next term. So we're going to see how many times x plus 6 fits into 6x squared plus 44x. So again, we want to go by the first term with this because we want to try to get rid of, we want to for sure get rid of this. It would be nice if we could get rid of both, but we have to really focus on getting rid of this first one. So we know now, let's see, so x can fit into 6x squared 6x times, so 6x times x plus 6 is equal to 6x squared plus 36x, so that we just subtract that from here. So we have negative 6x squared minus 36x. And so this equals 0 plus 8x. And so now we just drop our last term, 48. And before we keep going, we also need to make sure put 6x up here as well. All right, so now we want to see how many times x plus 6 can fit into 8x plus 48. And going by the first term, we can see that 8x is 8 times larger than x, so we can just multiply x plus 6 times 8. And it equals 8x plus 48, which happens to cancel out this second term as well. So we have 8x minus 48, and this equals 0. So And what we need to do is make sure we put the fact that it was a factor of 8 up here. And so now we can say that the solution of this is x squared plus 6x plus 8. If there was a remainder, we would have something non-zero right here. And so we would have to do another step. And you'll see how to do the next step in the subsequent examples. So for our next problem, we're going to divide x cubed plus 13x squared plus 50x plus 56 by x plus 8. So now we just set it up just like we did in the last example. And so we have x plus 8 over here, and we have x cubed plus 13x squared plus 15x plus 56 over in here. All right? So now we want to see how many times x plus 8 fits into x cubed plus 13x squared. And so we probably aren't going to be able to get rid of both of these terms and have a perfect match, so we try to match it to the first one. So x fits into x cubed, x squared times, so if we multiply this whole term by x squared, we get x cubed plus 8x squared. So now what we want to do is you just want to subtract it, cancel it out, and we want to make sure we put x squared up here. And so now we get 5x squared, and this goes to 0, and we just want to drop this down, and so we have 5x squared plus 50x. Alright, so now I want to see how many times x plus 8 fits into 5x squared plus 50x. So again, we're probably not going to cancel out both terms, but we want to see how many times, we can at least see how many times this first term fits into this term just to make sure the first one cancels out so we can keep going. And so what we do is we multiply, let's see, 5, x fits into 5x squared 5x times, so we multiply this by 5x. And so we get 5x squared plus 40x. And so now we just subtract it. And so we're left with 10x. And we want to bring down the 56. Before we continue, we want to make sure that we add the factor of 5x right there. So now what we want to do is we want to see how many times x plus 8 fits into 10x plus 56. And we might not be able to cancel this whole term out, so we want to see at least how many times the first term of x plus 8 fits into the first term of 10x plus 56. And 10x is 10 times larger than x, so we're going to multiply this by a factor of 10, so we have 10 times x plus 8, and that equals 10x plus 80. And so now what we're going to do is just going to subtract this by 10x, we're going to subtract this by 80, and so now we have negative 24 here. And I'll just make sure I write 10 up here. And so this negative 24 is indicative of the remainder. So what we have to do now is we have x squared plus 5x plus 10, and now what we do is we take this and we divide this by x plus 8 to indicate the remainder. So our final solution is x squared plus 5x plus 10 minus 24 over x plus 8. And there's your solution. Alright, so now we're going to do one last example. And so we're going to have one more problem, and we're going to divide x cubed plus 4x squared plus 6x plus 3 by x plus 1. Alright, so let's set this up. So we have x plus 1 over here, and then underneath here we have x cubed plus 4x squared plus 6x plus 3. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to just start dividing. So we want to find how many times x plus 1 fits into x cubed plus 4x squared. And we probably aren't going to get, we aren't going to be able to cancel both terms with this, but at least we can figure out how many times the first term here fits into the first term here. And so x can be multiplied by x squared to x cubed. So I'm going to write x squared times x plus 1 equals x cubed plus x squared. And we want to subtract this away from the bottom, so you just make these negative, and you want to make sure that you just write the factor that you multiplied by, so x squared, and so this equals 0, and this equals 3x squared. And so now we're at 3x squared, and our next thing we have to do is we have to bring this down, so we get 3x squared plus 6x. So now we need to figure out how many times x plus 1 fits into 3x squared plus 6x. So now what we do is we probably aren't going to be able to cancel out both terms, but we can figure out how many times the first term of x plus 1 fits into the first term of 3x squared. And so what we do is, if we multiply the first term x by 3x, we get 3x squared. So we're going to multiply this whole thing by 3x, so we have 3x, x plus 1, and that equals 3x squared plus 3x. And look, that'll cancel out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 3x up here, and then we're going to subtract it by this term. So we have negative 3x squared minus 3x. And so now what we're left with is 3x plus 3. All right, so now what we can do is we can then see again how many times x plus 1 fits into 3x plus 3. And we can see that 3x is related to x. If you multiply x by 3, you get 3x. So we just put 3 up here, and we have 3 times x plus 1, and that equals 3x plus 3. And look, it cancels out. So since we have 0 down here, we have a remainder of 0. We don't need to do the special thing we did last time. And so our solution is x squared plus 3x plus 3. So hopefully that helps give you some insight into long division for polynomials. And feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them. And thank you for watching this video.